Welcome to our first hangout / now named the Guerrilla Radio podcast. We will be putting this on podcast form and link it on Indiana Met afterward. But welcome. We have Mike Reiser, our raking extraordinaire, with his fresh off his London 2012 shirt on from the Olympics. So, Mike, welcome. Are you ready for a wrestling season?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. This is starting to – last week, everyone started, wrestling. Now you're starting to get into some more bigger matches. There's a ton of big matches last week.
Yeah, there's really early on. It's going to be interesting. A lot of teams are changing up their schedules. Just before we were talking about Perry Meridian, and Mike's like, "Oh, I'll see him next week at Lake County." I'm like, "I'm not sure they might not be going because I know everyone's had to change up their schedules. Basically, if you have been living under a rock, each team is forced to have basically 6 duels minimum, and then a maximum of 6 tournaments, which is 3 teams or more. So a little bit better, more duels, which is good, I believe. It's just a matter of, I know with us, it was a little bit harder finding good duels. That's what builds the sport more than just duels as an overall standard. So so this year your teams will probably have a little bit different schedules, so you got to pay attention to that. That's one thing I know. I'm trying to figure out other team schedules that everyone used to always have the same schedules. Now it's a little bit changed. So Mike will be running around trying to figure those out.
Oh yeah, and they do a good job. I think that's like one of my favorite posts now. Like the results page, like people always post for the weekend, like the big results, and it's easy to go there. Not only for me, like doing the rankings and getting to see, like the fans getting to see where these big matches are, but like for the guys like that are having these big matches or going up a weight or chasing someone to find those good matches, especially now limiting the amount of tournaments you're going to go to get that recognition even on the forum. So
yeah, definitely, it's going to be interesting with if we have a little less significant matches this year, because obviously we're trading 2 matches for potentially 5, and that's we go to a super duel. My best kids are likely to find, another semi-state or state level kid when you have 5 matches versus 1 or 2. So that's going to be interesting. We'll go we have a little bit of a structure today. We'll see how far we veer off of it.
I mean, I guess where does that affect? Because you guys are kind of spread out in Fort Wayne, right? Like you guys are not very on top of each other.
For us, we have a lot of schools close by. It's the issue is finding teams that are, the city schools are not as strong and they don't field as many JV matches.
Right.
That's one thing that our head coach and I were talking about the other day. When you schedule for JV, you have to do the same thing. They get 6 duels, 6 dual weigh-ins basically, and 6 tournament weigh-ins. But most of the time when you do JV, they're all tournaments because you're going to bring 3, 4, 5 teams together so that your kids can get 2 or 3 matches.
Right.
And now, so it's kind of hurting our JV a little bit. They're going to get a few less matches because they're going to trade in an event where they might get, 3 to 5 matches, whatever it is, for 2 duels that they might not get a match.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of how, outside of like the DAC in the region where those are the bigger schools and they traditionally are a little bit stronger. Like, yeah, the JV, I didn't even think of that. The JV kids are kind of going to get hurt wrestling some of the schools that aren't as deep. Are you guys one of the deeper teams in Fort Wayne, you think?
Yeah, we have a little over 40 kids, and I know some other teams. We picked up Prairie Heights. We wrestle them tomorrow night. Should be a great match.
Yeah, I love Prairie Heights.
Yeah, we're not messing around. The farm boys, they're driving their tractors. I think they're leaving about noonish. So
yeah, that'd be a good duel. That's one of those ones. I guess if you're big Fort Wayne semi-state guy, that's an exciting duel. Prairie Heights is great. They do a great job, and getting Buchanan back is going to be a good spot for you guys somewhere in there.
Yep, there should be 3 or 4 really good matches I'm kind of looking forward to. But we had them and Garrett. Garrett has a pretty deep team. We see them at our super duel, but we have 8 teams at our super duel now, so we will just not wrestle them. So that was and Garrett's little rivalry. It's a good fun rivalry. I like the coaches there and stuff. So I'll say
yeah.
nice.
You should
about 2 seconds.
Yeah, those are your guys. No, those guys are good guys. They run a good program. You know.
Yep. They have a pretty big number. I think they usually have close to 30, 25 to 30 kids, depending on the year. And, that's always good. What we were looking for is, we got to get those. We weren't really thinking about the JV thing, but now we still want to make it worthwhile and get, 7, 8, 10 JV matches, because it's, good for those kids to wrestle, and they want to wrestle in front of their home fans and in a duel, and not at, random tournament at Goshen where, no one goes and watches them. So,
does that affect like how they were doing the B team, and like can those duels count as like regular duels? Like if you're sending let's say you're sending the Carroll White team, I don't know, or your B team, can you use those as regular duels, or do they have to be like a straight JV duel?
They could be from what I know, it'd just be a regular duel. Like if we send them to wrestle XYZ school, whatever, in a single duel, and we've been approached, we were thinking about doing it, but I don't think we pulled the trigger. That could be used as a duel for them, as a dual weigh-in type thing. So yeah, it's kind of funky. And I know Dane was asking us about it on our group text, and I'm like, yeah, it's something you didn't think about until actually, sit down and start doing the scheduling and everything. So hopefully our kids still get their 20-ish matches for JV. And that's something, you want to develop your program, develop your kids, and getting them matches is how you develop them, other than them just beating up each other in practice.
Right. And that's how the top programs over the last couple of years have done it. Perry Meridian, we were talking about, they were sending B teams out, and they were, wrestling a high level schedule, Penn for a couple of years. I know you guys started doing that. Warren Central has that ability now. So
yeah, there's going to be actually something pretty cool. The weekend, the Saturday before sectional, there's going to be a Varsity B JV World Championships at Warren Central. I don't know if you've known about it, but Warren, Perry, Mater Dei, I think Harrison will be there. I want to say Carmel. I'd have to get I don't have the full list. There's like 8 to 10 teams. Portage will be there.
I didn't know this. This is like a dream coming true right now.
Wow, man, breaking news to you.
I know. I've been so wrapped up running the state with softball that I don't get to follow all the JV happenings that I would like to.
Yeah, we got to get you all up to speed. But yeah, it should be a really good event. I think there's 10 teams, 10 or 12. There might be 12. I think there's 12. I have the list somewhere. Should be some great wrestling. Obviously those teams all bring in full JV and you look at the studs that are on the JV there, so it'll be good for our guys to kind of for those types of guys. They're not wrestling sectional. It's good for them to keep them interested and keep them excited for the the JV World Championships or whatever. I don't know. Hopefully,
is it dual format or individual?
Dual.
Okay.
So it's so hopefully Coach Tante,
there'll be a lot of ISWA medalists in there, I'm sure.
Yeah. So hopefully Coach Tante has a great name, and maybe he gives out belts or something, or maybe his autograph. I don't know.
Yeah, he'll do a good job. That's awesome. I think that's just getting more diverse at the lower level. Obviously, varsity and that all goes great with sectionals and on. But having like the JV being recognized with an event like that, and I think hopefully the teams, like you said, those guys, and then any team that's strong is able to get in there. And then now that they did the freshman sophomore thing, which I think is really cool. Me and McGill were actually talking about it. Like I thought it would be cool, and he actually told me, and I agree, that if you're and they did the middle school state, if you're a middle school state champ, you can get an invite to that freshman sophomore thing and kind of see where you stack up with those guys. Varying, like not if you're like a 6th grade 84-pound or 80-pound guy, but there's some of the guys like I'm sure we'll talk later on about Mendez. Like if he could have got invited to that, it was good to see him and like maybe Logan Bailey in that same way, like kind of forecasting going into this year. Yeah,
no, I would definitely be up to it. I talked to Eric a little bit about that also, and it was, I don't know, kind of iffy, especially with, I'd like to, I don't know, it's kind of one of those things you usually see them at cadet level. So you're not really, it's, I don't know, it might be a little bit of liability issues because that 84-pound dad's going to say, oh, yes, let's enter him in this. And you're out by kids that weigh 30 pounds more than him.
Right. So, no, you're definitely right. There would have to be some kind of like, regulation, like 8th graders. But I mean, even then, like, what do you really? I don't know. It's just something cool to look at. I mean, obviously, we're gonna be. This is always an exciting time of year. You get all these new kids in, and Indiana has this huge flux right now of really strong freshmen that you're excited to see where they compete. And I know we kind of talked in the pre-show about going into it. Some of the weight classes where some of these freshmen are falling, and it looks pretty exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. I know I'm trying to find that email with all the teams, but I'd have to find it. Anyway, we'll do a mini recap of the off season. I guess we do have a little bit of a structure as we are going off kilter. Good Fargo for Indiana this year. Davison, Lucas, double champ, dominated his way through. Brayton Lee won. Pretty good to see Brayton finally win a championship. So, yeah, he looked real good. And also this spring, I know you were there, the Dream Team. It's hard to not talk about that. Pretty fun event.
Coach Tati texted me. We got Warren Central, Perry, Carroll, Evansville, Mater Dei. Let's see. Who else is there? Let me open it up. Portage, Cathedral, Brownsburg, Harrison, Bloomington South, Avon, Jeffersonville, off the top of his head.
Yeah, I think. Did you say Portage? I'm fairly certain Portage is.
Yeah, Portage, Cathedral, Harrison, Brownsburg. And it's the same format as Team State. So that's going to be an awesome day for wrestling.
Yeah. Same format. From what because he asked me for some suggestions, and I kind of had a little bit of a suggestion. We'll see if it flies. But yeah, that way people aren't having 2 buys like they do at Team State. I had a little bit different way of doing it. We'll see. But it should be some great wrestling. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for our kids to have something to build for at the end of the season and be still attending and working hard in practice. I mean, towards that time of the year, the kids see writing on the wall that, I'm not wrestling sectional, and attendance kind of drops off sometimes, and kids start finding other things to do. So be good.
Those are not like low-level programs. Those are all high-level programs that there's a good chance. I mean, just kind of glancing over the list, there's a lot of state-ranked guys in those teams, the varsity level. So it's not that you're a B guy behind, a guy that's going to be done wrestling at the sectional level. Those are a lot of guys that are going to be at the state finals. I'd be willing to bet a lot of those teams are going to have, 4 to 5 participants.
Yeah, definitely. So back to what we were talking about. Dream Team. I know you and your family all attended, and about 1,500 other people. Pretty fun event. I still watch some of the matches. I go back and just watch Ty Mills pinning his guy. That was crazy. That was a fun event, and I'm trying to figure out when I want to do it again, because I want to do it again. Obviously, the kids had fun, and it was a great environment for everyone. So what were your take on the Dream Team?
I got really lucky. Like I said, we've been doing a ton of softball. We were supposed to play that weekend. We got rained out. So we shot to Indy from Logansport. And first and foremost, like, Brownsburg facilities were so nice. They did a nice job. You guys did a great job getting that together. Overall, just the atmosphere was amazing. Packed house. Everyone's on the edge of their seats. I really took away that I thought every kid went in there and battled. Like, there wasn't – I mean, obviously there were some kids on the – I remember someone had posted on the board like, oh, man, this team's stacked. Like, why are we going to wrestle? I'm like, yeah, it's the best kids in the USA versus Indiana. That's kind of what's going on right now. And, when you talk to people outside of the state or in the state, they'll be like, well, I don't understand how this kid's not ranked number 1 in the country. It's like, well, yeah, those guys are really good. Yeah. So getting those guys to come to Indiana and getting those guys, getting our guys in there, everyone went out there and banged. It was amazing. I thought every match was pretty highly contested. I thought everyone went really hard. The Ty Mills thing was amazing. To go out like that in your home gym. And the match was kind of back and forth and a little bit chippy. I think right before that, like, he kind of got like shoved out of bounds. That was a pretty amazing, especially for Ty, who probably, before that, the state finals was really disappointing. I'm sure he was looking to get a title,
Yeah, that's a, if you don't get a state title, getting that, doing that in front of your home fans, that, and his coach, his college coach was there, came all the way from Duke,
Yep.
that was pretty cool. And I'm like, oh geez, you're coming here to watch him wrestle number one guy in the country. And like, I was looking at some of the matchups and I'm like, we might just get smoked here in 3 or 4 weights. And really, there was only one lopsided match. Everyone else battled, and that's a testament to how deep Indiana is. And those kids came to scrap, and it was a fun night. And I'm hoping we get to do it again sometime soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm looking. I'm looking at this freshman class. I like it a lot. So we have a few guys we can build it around. That's what. I had someone call me a couple of weeks ago and ask me about the event, and what if I would do it again, everything about it, from financials all the way to what would you do differently, and I just said, you got to build around 2 or 3 guys like we did. And you have Brayton, you have Mason, you have Davison. Those 3 building around those guys are easy to build around. Their Mason and Brayton were both 1-2 in the country, whatever ranking service you want to look at, and it's easy to build around those guys. So, and it's fun to see Mason and Brayton one more time in Indiana. That's the cool thing, and having everyone root for.
Yeah, and I think you put that in the back of the magazine, which came out great. Also, I hope everyone bought a copy. If not, you're really missing out on something good. Was that it was good to get Indiana in there all on one page. It wasn't Perry Meridian. We did the Perry Meridian Cathedral Duel last year, me and Nick, and even though it's wrestling, like they're pretty separated and there's some rivalries, but everyone was there for Indiana wrestling, and they really brought the energy.
Yeah.
And I think that the way we closed it out, or I didn't do anything. I like when people say, "Oh man, that was great. You did an awesome job." I said, I showed up and I got a free T-shirt. So a lot of that I had nothing to do with that. And obviously that was a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of stress involved in that. And I'm glad that I have the hair that I have, and the camera shows. Yeah. No, it was cool. Like you got to sell a lot of the gear. People were going, we had that gear table right when you walk in, and everyone was excited to get gear. The stuff came out good. The kids looked awesome. They did a good job with the equipment. But having Paris and Davison did really well. Brayton closing out the show the way he did. Flo there. Was it Flo that did? Yeah, Flo did it, right?
Yeah, Flo did it.
Flo did it. The views on the matches was great. It was just one of those things. Like, I don't think Indiana always gets the national love. With our travel restrictions, we're not going to the big tournaments in the season. And I'm like doing the rankings, I look at it the same way. Like, there's a lot of small schools guys that aren't getting the love, that aren't wrestling the Al Smith tourney, or the Marion County tourney, or the Tri-Coff, that we're getting to see them at these big tournaments, and they get overlooked, and then they come to the state finals and they do really well. And I think that's kind of like the Indiana thing. We don't get to go to the Ironman, or the Cheesehead, or the Dvorak, or Powerade, or any of these things. And whatever you did in the summer kind of gets pushed to the back of the list, and then an event like that, you're able to go and say, wow, these guys are really good.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun, and I'm I want to do it again. I definitely will do it again. It's a matter of finding a few guys to build it around, and I like our freshman class. I'm not going to guarantee it. I know as the best was afterward, Asa Garcia and Carson Brewer came up to me. He's like, "We're doing this again next year, right?" I'm like, no. There's a lot of work that went into it. As much as I would love to do it every year, there's a lot of work going into it behind the scenes. And that started a year ago, starting that work, to get everything going and, in the right direction. And so I'm going to take a break for this year. So
yeah,
as much as I'd love to show it off for, these guys, we have a great senior class, another great senior class. So I'd love to show them off, but we'll pass for this year. Moving on a little bit, college wrestling started up pretty hot and heavy. Had a pretty good weekend. Micic, Lee, Red all won their match. Lee won. Nick Lee won the Keystone Classic. Red and Micic both won some solid dual matches, and got a lot of good guys wrestling around. Wabash is having a good year. So is Indianapolis, even on the small school scale. So
I seen Darden Sherg win Michigan State Open. That was awesome.
yeah, he did, and he has lots of brothers also.
Yeah. No. The Shergs? Nah, they don't have that many.
So yeah, so it's pretty neat to see all those Indiana guys, whether it's D1 through NAIA, doing well. I know there's a lot of guys ranked in different divisions, but it's pretty. I know someone's they've started to post tell all the results and stuff. That's a lot of work to do. I'm just trying to keep up with it on Twitter, watching Nebraska and Michigan and Penn State and Wabash and Indianapolis and Indiana, all their, Twitter feeds, trying to find some stuff to retweet. I'm not going to do everything, but, trying to do the solid stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
No, it's always good. This is a great time of year, and they start a little bit earlier than we start, I know Red took a couple losses early on, right? Did he take 2 at that weekend?
Took a couple last weekend. He didn't. I watched a couple of those. I was like, there's something that I don't know if it just wasn't a good weight cut or he's banged up a little bit. They wrestled Friday and he didn't wrestle. So I don't know if it, bad weight cut or just trying to get, early in the season. A lot of the Nebraska guys didn't look good last weekend. So I'm wondering if they could have had travel issues. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of things that could have added up to when more than one kid doesn't. And
right.
It could be injuries. They could all be sick. I was sick a few weeks ago, and I know I couldn't have wrestled a Division I level match, a week later.
What about when you aren't sick?
Well, at least we all fight for 30 seconds when I'm not sick.
Yeah. No, obviously he's got a ton of talent. So I was kind of shocked. Someone had sent me that text, and I was like, really? Early on. But Indiana's doing a nice job. I mean, obviously there's a bunch of guys in the Big Ten. Northwestern has a bunch of Indiana guys. Michigan's got a couple Indiana guys. We got 3 now. 3 Indiana guys in Michigan.
So should be some great things to watch. Big Ten Network will have a lot of Indiana guys on there. I use they're building a big wall. Angel Escobedo and bringing in, he's not letting any good Indiana kid get out. I don't know what props to him on the new job and everything. That's another, recap from the spring Angel, and he's bringing in a class. He's like, and there's you're looking at the guys, and he's not just 125. He's bringing in 2 or 3. It's not just one. It's not just 160 pounder. It's 3 of them, and they all wrestled each other at Super 32.
Right. And then you're adding some guys like you got Paul Conrath back, and you got Kovac back from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to do. Like, we've kind of talked about that before in the past. Like, if you're going to be an Indiana program, you have to keep those Indiana guys in there. And then I think he's done a good job bringing in Jordan, who can recruit Ohio, and what's the guy? Mike Davis can recruit Illinois.
Dixon, he's the one. He's actually from Indiana, which I didn't realize until I kind of did some research. He has a profile in Indiana, but yeah, he was like he wrestled. They kind of brought him in as a recruiter. I know he's pretty good at recruiting, and I mean, looking at some of the D1 schools now, they actually have guys dedicated to recruiting pretty much as coaches. Okay. So, I think he's a pretty good recruiter, and obviously, Jordan can get into Ohio. He has some connections there, I guess, from what it sounds like, and should be able to, and I think Angel's going to do a great job. I think I'm glad to see that, the program, he's bringing in the recruits, and I know he cut the roster down a little bit, trying to change the culture of the team, to more, we're here to win. We're here to do the right thing on and off the mat. And I'm he's going to do it the right way. And I think he's going to, it's very interesting to see, because we know Angel's a legend in Indiana. Walking into the kids, Indiana fans, wrestling fans are really knowledgeable, which is something that people don't realize for a basketball state, that they're really knowledgeable about the legends and stuff, and the I guess like the folk heroes, you want to call them, someone like Angel, Alex Sertzis, Jason Sertzis, all those, those types of guys. Indiana people are so knowledgeable, and he's still recent enough in our minds that he has that impact that, hey, you can come wrestle for Angel Escobedo, and people, their eyes light. So.
Yeah. What year did he win his title? 06?
Yeah, 05 or 06, I believe.
He graduated at 04, right? And then
in college he won his junior year, I thought.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of the guys that are going to be seniors are probably a little bit coherent to the idea that, that was an NCAA champ from Indiana,
Mm-hmm.
So I know in the region they love him.
Yeah, and he's picking up those region guys. He's actually going all over the state and even the better guy. That's what you got to do. And I'm excited for what they're going to do.
Someone told me that IU is going to have 5 state champs in Indiana this year.
Oh, they already have like 2 or 3, I think.
They have. What do they have returning? They have Moran. He's committed. Garcia, South,
and Rooks.
So
far,
he has Washington.
And you have Washington and a couple others that are going to be in there. So he's good,
right? He's not a champ. So you got a lot of guys.
Yeah, they could have 6 or 7 the way they're going. So I'm excited to see what they're doing. We'll move a little bit on. Actually, I got to look at my thing. State rankings. Obviously, a lot of people's got the magazine. We're going to try to get one state rank. I know Howery has some Newcastle ones. I was tinkering with it today. Didn't quite get them up. Hopefully, if we get done at a decent time tonight, I'll get them up. For Newcastle, you're going to probably get them Wednesday, Thursday-ish. Try to get some.
Yeah. I work on them as information comes in. I have it in my phone, and I just slide them around, and they're always kind of a work in progress. So, I mean, they could be updated every day. I seen someone post it because Tucker Kaufman lost this past weekend. They said was that the earliest someone had lost, and I said kind of yes and kind of no, because the year that Chad was ranked number 1, we had Hayden Lee ranked number 1, but he lost to Super 32, and we switched it right before the magazine came out.
Yes,
and we've done that a couple of times where something at the Super 32 changed the idea, or at Indiana Mat where like a guy would change, and Tucker Kaufman obviously is so tough. He's a tough kid. Return to state semifinalist. That's just an early match that you're getting, and that's what we want to see. That as a fan, I have no coaching affiliation. I don't make matchups, but as a fan, that's what you want to see. You want to see those guys go out and get great matchups, and that's a great match early on.
Yeah.
But in the next release, I was informed that Nick South would be at 170, so Nick South would be the number 1 ranked wrestler at 170 pounds. Deservingly. Obviously, he was a finalist at the Super 32.
Yeah. No, that's a good for Kaufman and Klettheimer are both their smaller school programs, so they're not going to get to see the better competition usually, and that's good that they hit each other, whether it's first weekend or some other time. So that's good for them to see that kind of match, and when they don't wrestle at Al Smith, I think Kaufman will go to the Connorsville, but that can be kind of hit or miss sometimes. So it's always good for those guys to see that kind of match early on. So that's our rankings. As we kind of hit on it, some weights that we're kind of both looking forward to. 126 as of now. Obviously, we don't have everyone's weight figured
so
out.
That's a different one from the magazine too. That we had Mendez at 120, but kind of going back and forth. It sounds like he's going to be at 26 in that meat grinder with Curtis and Watts.
Yeah, that's an ugly weight. And then you have guys like Rio, who was 3rd last year, and Walenzek, who is 4th. They're sitting at 4 or 5-ish. And
Brock Peel's a semifinalist from 2 years ago. And I wouldn't, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Brayton Littell in that weight either. I know he's wrestled 120 in the summer and then some of this early stuff, but they got Alex Petro in there, and I know he's kind of low. That might just be. They're kind of. I think they got like 3 guys that are probably like state rankable at 126. They're gonna have to kind of find spots for with Petro, Littell, and Riley Rust from Alaska.
Yeah, the Alaskan state champ.
That's state champ.
Yeah, that was an interesting one with IPO. Like, I looked on the seating criteria. I'm like, Alaska state champ, and then I kind of was confused because it said, I went and looked it up because I was like, okay, someone just messing with me or what? And it said 2017 Alaska State Championships. I'm like, well, I'm looking for 2018, but they wrestle their state championships in December of 2017. So it's technically a 2017 state champion.
So no one probably wants to be out in Alaska and December, January, February.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I can imagine that. So, yeah,
No.
I know talking to Coach Swain, he's pretty solid. Obviously, he's not going to be a state title guy this year, but he said he works hard. And I was just, like, what do you think? He's like, I didn't know what to think. I was like, this guy said, he came up and he was deep, he's like, okay, he knows what he's doing. And it's like, he's a Alaska state champion. Like, huh? It's like one of those things that you don't hear coming into your room very often. So, but sounds like he's pretty
pick up
solid.
percentage growth.
Yeah.
And I know we kind of talked about that. We talked about that at Dream Team. Coach Swain does a great job. I think that's going to be a program to watch, and I think they have a ton of talent. I mean, they've added. I mean, not only him, but they added freshman 106-pounder. They added the 145, right?
Drake Buchanan, I believe. Yeah, they're going to be tough.
Yeah.
I know they've in the past they've had some guys that have matriculated to other schools. And I kind of jokingly asked Swain, he's like, are you locking the guys down? He's like, oh, yeah. Because they've had some really good kids transfer out.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's parochial.
Some of the Cathedral kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they have some good kids there. They always have a great youth program, and they always have about 85 kids at freestyle, folk style states. Obviously, they're right next door, so it's easier to bring that many kids, but still, they always have they have a good youth program, and they've done well the elementary duels and stuff like that. So they're going to be they're going to be ones to watch, especially that meat grinder regional with Brownsburg, Avon, Franklin.
Swain's coming from a tough regional. That North. I mean, not that it's that regional, but I mean North Montgomery wasn't in a soft regional.
No, especially when they're a 2A school and they wrestle in Carmel and Zionsville and Noblesville and all those schools.
Yep. So I'm interested to see what he does. I think that he's a really good coach.
Yeah, definitely did a real good job at North Montgomery, and having a little more resources will help him. So, 160 gonna be a fun one. You have Donnell, Washington, Slivka, Calhoun, LaPlace, all up there. That's gonna be a fun one to watch. Because Washington beat Calhoun. And then who beat Slivka at the IPO? Was it LaPlace? No, LaPlace beat him too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I don't have it in front of me. I know that Donnell wrestled him last year at the Tri-Cup. They bumped him up. Jordan Slivka can wrestle with anybody. That guy's – and it sounds like he's a pretty good bowler also.
Yeah, that's what he says. I'm not sure if we're going to have a bowl-a-thon the night before Al Smith. I think that might be how we do seating. I'd rather do it that way. That'd be more fun, at least.
Yeah. He can obviously. He's one of the best guys in the state. Yeah, that weight's great. It's deep, and then you're gonna add the freshman from Ohio in there, Welch. That's at Culver Military now. Also, I'm interested to see how those Culver Military kids do.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see, where did he go? Oh, Slivka got beat by someone else early and then got beat by LaPlace in the third place match. So Culver Military, they brought in some, they had a trade. They don't have Manzona left.
Yeah. Which makes me sad because that guy's a human highlight reel.
Yes. He'd much rather throw you than know you. So I'm kind of disappointed in seeing him leave, but I think they got a good deal. I mean, the players to be named later were pretty good replacements.
We got Cernus, who is going to be ranked. What did we start Cernus at? What did I rank Cernus at 2?
He's at 2, and it's hard to tell. Ohio does middle school state, and it's all one class. Everything else is class. Yeah. So winning a middle school state title in Ohio is a pretty big deal. So I think he's won a couple of those things. They got Brady Welch. Yeah, another top freshman. I think he's ranked by Flo, and then
he was.
And then who's the other big guy? Where'd he go?
Andrew Donahoe is ranked by Flo. He was a top 5 guy by Flo too.
Yeah, by Flo, and I think Intermat has him like 5-ish. Also, and he wrestled. He was originally registered for 55 at IPO, and now he's wrestling 82. So he must have the Culver dining experience must be pretty good.
Trey Finity, a place there in Ohio is there. They got him.
Yeah, he's what is he, like a 26 pounder?
Yeah, I think the 120 they said. A
Yeah.
lot of the guys, like especially you guys might find this hard to believe, but I'm not going out and watching a lot of youth wrestling. I'm not going to, the Portage Freestyle Open and checking out the schoolboy division. I just asked the people that are kind of in that area, and when those guys kind of registered, I asked Hector Mendez because obviously Jesse's around the country pretty well, and he was like, "Yeah, that Cernus kid's really good. Donahoe's really good." So just generally, if you're getting a pretty good review from those guys, you're probably pretty good.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested. And actually, this year we've had a lot of transfers into the state.
Yeah.
Crown Point has what's his
Riley Bedich.
Bedich, yeah, he was a state champion in Michigan last year, runner up as a freshman.
Yeah.
He had the Riley Rust, returning Alaskan state champion, the Alaskan Assassin. We just gave him a nickname, so he has to stick with that. Change that to your Twitter handle, Riley.
He probably doesn't know about this yet. He's probably not watching, but someone let him know.
Yeah. Where's the other one?
Nick Buchanan's back from Michigan.
Yes, Buchanan is back. Finnerty.
170. You had transfer from Iowa.
Oh yes, that one's very interesting. I don't know if I should tell this story. I'll tell you afterward. But Le'Veon Bellamy, he is actually Angel Escobedo's, I believe, cousin-in-law, like first cousin. His wife's first cousin.
We have him at 182.
182, yeah. He's wrestling at Edgewood. He moved in with them, had some things going on back in Iowa, and he was a 7th place finisher, I believe, there. He should be one to watch there. Obviously, a really good football player from what I read and seen online. So, and that one kind of just came out of nowhere. But yeah, that's an interesting one to watch too. And Edgewood has pretty good track record with 182 pounders. So yeah. We'll see how he does there. I think those are the big ones, but it's interesting to see that, that many state placers moving into the state to wrestle. Usually our guys are moving out, it seems. So,
we did lose Manzona.
Yeah, Manzona. Yeah, I feel bad for Manzona, and I didn't he was at the Super 32, but I wasn't really very social, so I'd have gone and said hi and told him that he has to come back and stuff, and he probably wouldn't have listened, or probably would have just thrown me.
Yeah, so, I could watch that Jeremiah Brooks Manzona Bryant match from East Chicago Semi-State 100 times. Those guys were all offense.
Yes, they are. Moving on, any other weights, any other guys you're looking forward to seeing this year?
There's always like a bunch of weights that you always get excited for. Like I always feel like 120, 126 are those weights where you're going to get kind of like some 120s stay down, then you get like some 6s and 13s that move up and you want to see them go. Obviously, I'm excited to see 126 with Mendez. I don't know. We've only ranked an incoming freshman number 1 twice with Jesse now, and then we had Chad ranked number 1. We kind of talked about that earlier. So, I mean, that's exciting. And he's going to fall back now that he's going to be at 26 behind the guys that are state champs. But we were talking before, they'll have an opportunity to see Yorktown at Westfield, which I hope. I mean, I'll try to petition that on the board to see if they're in the same pool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, and I'm not sure if they'll meet up or not, but you'll have the opportunity. Crown Point's at Al Smith now, so you have the opportunity to see Watts there. So 2026 are always weights that are, kind of those perfect storm weights where you get a lot of people moving. 32, obviously, and 38 is always good weights. Just a lot of guys returning, and you got Asa in there, and I think that he's a gamer. He shows up every year, and he's always improving. I think that's like one of the things that the top guys are doing is not being content and just staying the same. Those guys are always improving, and that's an exciting way for me.
Yeah. 38 looks pretty tough from what we have here. Gimson, Rooks, Kreitzer, Viduya.
Yeah,
that's pretty deep weight.
Oh yeah.
Very top heavy.
A lot of the weights, I don't. So for the preseason, I never put the numbers by the wrestler to start off. I just kind of say, okay, this is what we're thinking, and we're just kind of sifting results, and then I lay it out down the line like that, and then you see like, oh man, the guys that are just right outside the top 16, and you're like, wow, like that's. I mean, not every weight, obviously. The bigger weights are a little bit more difficult because you have a higher graduation through there. But man, like you look at some of these weights and you're like, how am I going to justify not having this kid ranked in the preseason, or, along the line, I don't know. I switched it up so much. Like obviously you have like an Andrew Wilson, who's a state qualifier. I don't know if he was ranked in the magazine, but he's outside the rankings right now at 38, a couple other state qualifiers here or there. And you're just like, wow, like that's tough,
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good deep weights. I think Indiana is getting better depth throughout the state, and in every weight class there's we have our elite guys, but I think they're gonna be battled. It's gonna be hard for them to. They're not gonna walk through a state title. I mean, obviously we have guys like Paris and Brayton Lee that just dominate everybody, but we don't see those every year, and those guys are exceptions to the rule. But I'm looking at all these weights, and there's no one that I'm going to put a lot of money on to say that they're going to win state. There's a couple weights I'm like, okay, I could probably put a decent amount on, but I'm not gonna say like last year. I said I'll put Brayton down. I'll put Paris down. I'll put them down for the house and more. But
if you had to pick the one, if you said right now preseason, we used to do this at the end of the year with the incoming freshmen. If you had to say that guy is my lock to win,
I'm probably gonna go Picorni.
That's what I was gonna say.
But the only thing I want to say with Picorni is I know we didn't see him very much this offseason, which is very rare for Chesterton guys because they love hitting up Fargo and such. I know he wrestled in a cadet Pan Am's qualifier event. I know a few of our Indiana guys went there. It was like in Pennsylvania. It was real early. And I know he injury defaulted out. So I don't know if he got like what happened there, but after that we never saw him. So I haven't heard anything. Hopefully he's fine and ready to go. But yeah, that's probably my the only reason for that is he's a returning champ at heavyweight, and there's a high graduation rate, as you said, of heavyweights.
Yeah,
there's only two other guys that've been to state there, so that should be.
He's really good. He's really good.
Yeah, and he's a top 3 or 4 heavyweight in the country.
Yeah. Did you watch the Oklahoma State Minnesota duel yesterday?
Yeah, a little bit. Yes, I saw Gable came out. The worst. I'll just say that was one of the worst red shirts of all time. Everyone's like, they're going to pull that. He's not going to red shirt. And just so people were asking me like, yeah, do you think that he's going to red shirt? I go, no, they're going to pull that quick. It was for like 2 weeks. So yeah, he's going to be pretty good. It's going to be interesting to see how he handles the bigger guys and stuff. And
yeah,
I'm excited. So to see him wrestle, I mean, obviously he's an Indiana guy. We still claim him here in Indiana.
We claim everybody that's ever been here.
Yeah. If you set foot in Indiana, you're an Indiana guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that was exciting. It was an exciting duel.
Yeah, that was good.
I was hoping to sneak it out and then pull, Tommy out and throw Brayton Lee in there too. Double up.
Yeah, no, I think they have enough depth there. I think they have a lot of seniors.
Yeah,
they have a team that I think should challenge for a trophy. I mean, so they should. They got to have Gable, who's a big point earner. He's a top 3 or 4 guy easily.
Yeah,
so they got to have him to get that trophy. But moving on, one of the interesting things with our new schedule thing, we kind of touch on a little bit. Perry Meridian has changed up their schedule a little bit. And because they didn't have a tough enough schedule, obviously already, they think they're usually one of the top, 5 schools strength of schedule usually. They added a duel with Mater Dei. I believe it is at Mater Dei this year. I'm not 100% certain, but then they also added the Al Smith, which should be 2 pretty nice additions to their schedule.
Yeah. That's those guys come out. Those guys are gonna make a lot of noise there. We get to see them at the Harvest Classic, which I'm kind of disappointed because you told me they're not in it now. But like even the guys that are not like the state ranked guys, those guys get bonus points all over the place. Like Perry Meridian in a individual bracketed format is going to rack up bonus points through. I think they wrestled this weekend. They had a couple guys out of their lineup that I had seen that were there. They got a couple new guys. They got Gabe Smith now, who is at Lawrence Central. Who I think was he a semi-state guy or was he withdrawal?
He won Al Smith 2 years ago, and he stubbed his nails.
Oh, dude, he's so good, and I think that's kind of been the thing. I think he's had some injuries, some weight issues. Getting in a program like Perry Meridian is going to be great. I heard that Brady McKivitz was there from Avon. I don't know if he's wrestling or not, but I know that he had a lot of really good kid results. I mean, adding two guys like that with like a Sam Fair, Aiden Warren, Cotty. You got some guys that in there can rack up some points.
Yeah, that's going to be. Speaking of Al Smith, I think Coach Sandifer has he kicked out some teams from what I've heard, and along with Perry, Crown Point's there. I think we mentioned that earlier, and then they also added Wawasee, 2A state champs. Seems like they have about 12 guys have been to state. They have three, I think, that are returning, and then Northridge, who pretty tough program, solid program top to bottom. They're also added. I know they've. I thought there's one other team that they added that was solid.
I remember you texted me, but you get blinded by the Perry Meridians and the Crown Points, and that's great. I love what Coach Lorick and Hawkins and Sessa are doing over there because for the longest time, Crown Point wouldn't wrestle over the holidays, which I don't understand. That's when some of the best wrestling is going on. And I think it was, I mean, obviously they had a good run in there, but I think it was a detriment to some of their guys. And now you have these guys like Riley Bedich coming in, who's a state champ, Jesse Mendez, like one of the more heralded freshmen coming in, and you're going to get them these big matches. They're going to Westfield. They're going to go to Al Smith and get in there with the Perry Meridians and you guys. Mishawaka has a lot of returning guys. They look pretty good. Penn's always good. Cathedral's still there, right?
Cathedral will be there.
Cathedral.
That's it. I'm not looking forward to that seating meeting. That's going to be ugly.
For the services every year, we can just do a right off the rankings.
Yeah. You might want to send that to Sandifer. He might take you up on that. I know. When he texted me that, I said that we need to figure something out with a seating because I don't want to be there all night. We got a bowling. I got to challenge Slivka to a bowling title.
What are you guys betting?
I don't know. Maybe I'll put up my bowling state title for his wrestling state title.
He loves the camera.
Yeah.
Give him a little bit. I don't know. That might be too much. I felt like last year I was like waiting after he won a state title. I was like, this guy's gonna go nuts right now.
Yeah, no, he's a pretty cool kid. I mean, I've talked to him, he's been on the Gorilla team with Barquilli on them for a while and for a couple of years, and I know he's always has I talked to him, great kid to talk to, and always fun to always has a smile on his face, never very serious, I don't think, but I pick on him a little bit on Twitter. I was asking, when he saw the cover of the magazine, I'm like, the real question was, is he on the Indiana Lanes magazine cover? And he obviously said yes.
He gets out there and gets it, man. I like it. He's basically a backpack, so I'm sure if he can't beat you in bowling, you might have to wear him around your back for the next month.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, he's one. Actually, he's one. I mean, he took a couple losses at IPO, but you always got to take those losses with a grain of salt. And I don't think the 2-1-1 period's probably playing into his forte of being able to ride and turn and things like that. So, you got to take those a little bit of grain of salt. Obviously, those guys that are better on their feet are gonna do better at tournaments like that. With that kind of period length. And people always say, freestyle is a different sport. So it was a 2-on-1 match.
Yeah.
Have a different strategy, in the second, third period when you're choosing, do you go neutral? Do you go bottom? A lot of interesting things go there, but yeah.
The Bobcats are getting a good one, right?
Yes. Yeah. Coach Greenlee he's going to get a good one, and I think his style will translate really well into college. I mean, obviously being able to ride. We saw Drew Hughes go be 2 points away from All-American as a true freshman because he could ride a guy.
Even Isaac last night from Minnesota, like that guy's a back. I mean, he ran into a hammer last night, but that guy makes a living off riding people like that.
Yeah, that's definitely that's pretty big. So, anyway, any big matches? Anything else we need to discuss tonight?
I mean, tomorrow, right? They're gonna have possibly. I mean, I see someone posted that Garcia's gonna be way up high, but Garcia Bo, that's 1 and 2.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Bo also leaving his former school.
Yes, that should be a good. That should be. I think Plainfield's getting better. I think they're going to do pretty well.
Yeah. I think I just need to start Bo ranked super high all the time. That guy finds a way to get medals every year. That's what he does.
Yeah, he does. He's kind of funky. He just doesn't look like he does a lot, but he's kind of that funky strong that you only realize it when you're on your back or in a bad position.
Yeah, those guys do it. He's been in there, so that could be an exciting match. I'm sure those guys have wrestled a good amount of times. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they probably. I'm sure they're both contenders kids and have wrestled with each other a lot. This weekend there's a lot of matches going on. I know this weekend seemed a little slow. I think that's mainly because of the new scheduling. I know we had an event this past weekend usually, but we canned that for the 2 duels. So I think there's been a little bit slower start to the season than we're used to. Usually it's
right in the Capital City. Those are the 2 of my favorite early on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean the Capital City's always that's always a good one, but past that, I mean, I don't know. It just seems slow maybe because we didn't wrestle, but usually we see a few good matches, a few more. So
just kind of looking at the notable. I mean, there was a good amount of notable results, especially for early on. And now all these guys are going to go wrestle Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes.
So, the actual biggest match of the year.
Yes.
Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yes. No, I feel bad. Why do we have wrestling during the biggest eating holidays ever?
Because after you leave, then they become your favorite holidays.
Yes. and you make up for it. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I guess we will wrap up our Guerrilla Radio podcast, and we cannot use the Rage Against the Machine songs because it's kind of frowned upon and it will cost lots of money. And I'd rather give out T-shirts. It is our 10th anniversary in just a few weeks. We will have something planned. I don't know. There's gonna be lots of shirt giveaways, maybe. I have gear and stuff, so we're gonna have some fun with that. 10 years. That's kind of crazy to think that we've been around that long, and you're thinking about seniors were in 2nd grade and they don't know anything other than Indiana Mat, which is crazy. But we're going to be doing some fun things with that. So stay tuned to the website, social media, and all that fun stuff for some fun 10-year anniversary stuff.
Yeah. Good luck with all go follow the Twitter and get some of these questions going. Right.
Yeah. Well, it's not as fun anymore because I put a lot of my trivia questions are now in the history area.
It was like who was the first person to post on Indiana Mat?
Yeah, yeah, and that took a while. I thought people would be able to find that a little bit easier, but
people were digging deep. They were getting some legends on there, right? They were bringing back some oldies. There were some guys that AJ Bradley. AJ, I think, was one of the answers, but that wasn't him.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that are going crazy on it. Who did it end up being?
It was Region Rat 1, and it's not the Region Rat that has I don't know, something wrong. It has smelled the region air too long, but it was another person that used that same name, so there's a little bit of confusion in there. But yeah, so yeah, he was technically the first. Well, not really technically. If you go back, we actually had a different board for about 3 hours until it got crashed because so many visitors. But we'll have a 10th anniversary show. I'm kind of excited.
That's happened a couple of times.
Yeah, and we'll just relive some glory days of the message board and stuff, and some of the old website, things that it's been kind of fun. It's been a lot of fun because I didn't expect myself to be doing this, but we are. So,
I'm currently in the process of moving. I can go through one of my boxes and see if I have that original Trikoff lineup sheet that Carl Hungus was handing out.
Oh yeah, I have it. I have one somewhere around in my archives. I got to start in my Indiana Mat archives. I have to get my I got the Dream Team banner that was signed by all the wrestlers. I got a lot of pretty cool things, and I don't know, my poor wife my basement's being overran by Indiana Mat gear and programs from state finals and all that kind of stuff. So she's really enjoying that.
People always ask me what it is every time. I wear. I think I only have like 2 different types of things. I have like more softball and Indiana Mat wrestling stuff.
Yeah, I had 55 T-shirts, and I know I missed a couple.
What what'd you guys go? You and that guy, what's his name, Jason Bryant, wrestling shirt a day?
Yeah, I did. I think I got about almost half a year. I almost got about 6 months, and he just blew me out of the water. The only reason I could keep up was because I had all the Indiana Mat stuff. And he started so I couldn't wear all my sweatshirts.
Kim said we should do the evolution of the Gorilla logo. That should be on the bottom next time. We'll have the evolution of the Gorilla logo from the cartoon all the way up.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, we have that Gorilla logo. That's the old school logo. I'll have to wear the original shirts for the 10th anniversary show.
Man, I want to have to stick a little bit harder this keto diet, and maybe I'll get into that original shirt too.
Yeah, definitely. So with that, we're gonna let everyone go, and we will be back hopefully, I don't know, next week sometime. Monday's kind of gonna be our day. We're gonna try to do this, but we might have to postpone it a day next week or a day earlier. So we'll talk.
Cyber Monday.
Say that again.
It's Cyber Monday, Joe. I understand.
Yes, I understand. So, okay. Everyone have a wonderful week, and we'll see you later.